I wanted to make a free-form video for this channel that I haven't updated in quite a while. Originally I focused on, the channel was focused on Gigantea anemones and some other things, but the Blue Kai Aquatics brand, I guess you could say, originally was nothing but Gigantea anemones. And I noticed that there was a desire for Gigantea anemones in the hobby, and I like them very much, and so I made a small business selling them. I had shut down that business when I relocated, but over the past 5 to 8 years, I've owned and treated maybe 100 Gigantea anemones of varying sizes and levels of health and colors. And when I set up this reef tank, I wanted to do a full spectrum reef tank. And my corals aren't necessarily very beautiful in this reef tank, but they look good under full spectrum. And one thing that I had always liked when snorkeling in the Indo-Pacific was brown, tan, I guess, Gigantea anemones. And the majority of the ones that you would see at the wholesale when I was buying them would not be brown because they weren't collected. So in a way, I feel like that this color morph is pretty rare. Everybody wants neon green or blue or what have you. And there's some morphs out there too that are some hybrids, I guess you can say, that are pretty cool. But when I used to buy the anemones wholesale, I would always, or 100% of the time, treat them with an antibiotic. And now it appears that particular antibiotic is hard to get a hold of. And I'm not necessarily sure how good that antibiotic is in general. I've read some articles about how the dosing that we do to treat corals or anemone or clams or what have you isn't even doesn't do anything. So I don't know. I it's almost like the optimism of just having the anemone and then treating it with antibiotics was more of a a remedy than the actual antibiotics itself. But anyway, when I can't remember where I sourced this one from, there would be some random. You would occasionally. I wanted one tan, so being able to find one that's tan was not that easy, I guess, and. I don't remember where I got it from, but when I did get it, it was about half the size of this. And I didn't have the true perks at the time. And I made a decision. I wanted to see if I could have it, put it in the tank, and not treat it, and just watch it. And it did all the telltale signs of all the other Gigantea I had in the past. It deflated, inflated, it wouldn't attach, all those things. Lost it for a while, found it in the tank, but I just didn't want to treat it. I wanted to see if it was possible. And the tank was a bit neglected early on. It had alk swings, it had salinity swings, just basically due to my negligence. I had lights go out for a couple of days, no flow in the tank for a couple of days, things like that. It was a pretty neglected tank. And this thing kind of stuck in there. And I mean, it looked terrible, but it never died. And I did end up finding some wild caught true perks, which you see here. And when I put them in the tank, I have a pretty large frog spawn in here, big colony. The perks hosted that. It's almost like they didn't even recognize the Gigantea. And I ended up kind of moving the Gigantea. It finally did attach to a rock, the rock you see here. And I ended up moving it to closer to where the frog spawn was. And you know, overnight, oh, there we go, the perks were in it. And it's been about maybe 3 months now where the perks were hosting it. And in those 2-3 months, this Gigantea completely changed. It looks like it is now. It doubled in size. You know, we're talking 2 years, half this size. Wouldn't take food. Would move around a lot. And it makes me think, that the symbiotic relationship here with this particular species of clownfish, and other clownfish will host this, but I think this is the primary pair here of true perk and Gigantea. Obviously did something. It obviously changed whatever need that anemone had. It gave it what it needed. And you'll see the perks will poke at it, and they agitate it, and they bite it, and they clean it, and they feed it. So I don't know. I mean, there must be some science behind it, obviously. But I just think that it is, I wonder how many untreated, long-term Gigantea anemone there are out there in reef tanks. I wonder if it's a thing, or if we just are so quick to do that that we don't even know. And I wonder if the long term of this carpet, I wonder if it's any different, because I never did that. As long as these clownfish are alive, I wonder if it will increase the longevity of this carpet. Just some thoughts I'm thinking about while looking at the tank today, and realizing how full the gig looks, and wanted to share my opinion and my experience.